Joining us now in studio is the Hall of Famer Thurman Thomas. Thurman, how was your Thanksgiving? Good?
It was great.
Good.
It was absolutely fantastic. Food was great as usual. Patty cooked another great meal. And my daughters helped with the mac and cheese. So we had a little bit of everything going. And my mic is not on.
Oh, your mic's not on. All right. Well, we'll take care of that in the interim.
That's not your fault. You're not responsible for that.
Yeah.
You
They'll figure it out. Don't worry. They'll get you squared away. And Steve's,
I don't know what
Steve's an engineering genius. I'm sure he'll be
the wire was too tight there. It had a kink in the hose.
I think we're okay now.
Are we good now?
Can they hear him?
Can you guys hear us? Nobody's in there to do it. Jaybird came in here and talking to us, and they're still not
They'll
good.
have to figure something out.
Thanks for coming in, Thurman. Yeah. It's great talking to you.
We'll
Love
triage,
you, man.
We'll triage that.
I'm going to treat you like the friend of the show that you are. And
I was all excited to talk to him about Ed Oliver. Like, what are we? Because I thought Ed should have been at that Thanksgiving table at the end of the game yesterday. I understand why Josh and Stefan and Tyler Bass are there, but my God, how about some love for Ed? Throw him a turkey leg, for God's sake.
You know what? After thinking about it, we were talking about it in our little text group or whatever. I was like, Ed is there to make that bank. He's not worried about a turkey leg right now.
Yeah.
And he's playing very, very well. But I do believe that he should have been there eating some of that. He had an outstanding game. He's been playing really well all year. You talk about the two guys on our team, talk about all-pro. Ed Oliver and Matt Milano could be two all-pros. He's playing very, very well. I mean, he destroyed Detroit's offensive line yesterday. And I know they had a couple of backups, whatever. But you know what, though? People are going to be looking at that film and go like, okay, we turn it on. We got to block this guy right here.
Yeah. And they're going to need him, Thurman, because Steve and I were talking about how they're down defensive ends.
Yeah.
Von Miller's definitely missing next week's game and maybe more. And Rousseau's still trying to get healthy. A.J. Epenesa's got an ankle injury. I mean,
Deion Dawkins goes out.
Yeah.
But I'm just talking about defensive end. You're going to need Ed to keep making these kinds of plays.
Yeah. Hey, I hope he does. And I think he will. Like you said, though, with all the injuries that we've had throughout the course of the year and losing Vaughn for we don't know how long now, but guys like this are going to have to step. I think this entire defense has to step up now. Yeah. I really do.
It really seems like it's not going to be the players. It's not going to be a new offensive coordinator. It's not even going to be the Kansas City Chiefs. Or what's really got a chance to sabotage a Super Bowl run is injuries.
Yeah,
that's really what seems like it's going to do it.
That's been nonstop.
The Bills have played the toughest, one of the toughest top 2 or 3 schedules in the league as far as how many games their opponents have won. Mm-hmm. They've lost 3 games we've been through this a ton.
Oh, have you?
By 3 games by a total of 8 points. They're winning close games. They're blowing people out, and they've done it while being injured as much as anybody in the league. So the only thing that's going to derail them is their own mistakes, obviously, or penalties. Injuries.
Injuries. Yeah.
I mean that's it.
That is it. But man,
it's
have all of that and be 8-3.
Right.
To be 8-3 right now, going into another Thursday night game against
New England,
team that is dominant. We've dominated the last couple of years, taken away from them. So, hey, man, I have to do this once again, take my hat off to Sean McDermott, Brandon Beane, and the scouting department.
Yeah.
These guys are backups, and they're getting valuable time right now.
Oh, yeah.
Valuable time right now, and that's going to help them in years to come. But for right now, the way this team has won, they're out there fighting every single game.
Yeah. I want to talk to both of you guys about this because you had a head coach in Marv Levy who was great at resetting the motivation level of the football team after you had been to the top of the mountain and you had to kind of hit the reset button and go try to climb the mountain again. It's a little bit different than what the Bills had to do these last 10 days. But managing the crisis that Sean McDermott had to manage these past 10 days with 5 guys sick, a slew of injuries, not being able to practice because it was a snowstorm, relocating a home game, more injuries coming out of that game, playing in 4 days, going back on the road again. losing your best pass rusher and your left tackle in the game yesterday in the first half, and you won both of them, despite all that. And you practiced once in 10 days, one full practice in 10 days. Managing crisis. Talk to me about Sean McDermott doing that.
If he goes out and we win the division, and if we get second or third seed or whatever, or even the first seed, Coach of the Year without a doubt. Coach of the Year without a doubt.
He won't get it.
He won't get it,
He
though,
won't
because
get
of the
it.
expectations of this team. Oh, they were supposed to win.
Oh, no. I think
That's
people,
how they're gonna do it.
I know that's how they probably
Brian
do it, but I think they're looking
Brian
at.
Dable will get it, or
Or the
one of
kid up in Minnesota.
Minnesota.
The Giants are
will
going to
get it.
finish
O'Connell.
10-7. You think he's going to get it? Finishing 10-7?
Yeah, we're watching the slow fade.
Really?
We're
The
watching.
Giants?
Yes.
10-7?
Yes.
He'll get it.
No.
He might be unanimous.
Well, they'll get pumped
Because
up.
it's New York. It's for
It's
one
the
thing.
New York
it's New
media
York.
pump up. There is some validity to that. I
It's
will
the New
agree
York
with Steve on
media,
that.
and it's the expectations.
I don't know if
were
10-7
be
is
a
gonna get it.
five
Okay,
win
so
team.
so
If they-
so
if
you're
they-
saying right now, what you're really saying right now is that both of the two New York teams, they're the front runners for the Coach of the Year?
Yeah, absolutely.
The only reason-
Jets and the Giants. If the
Yeah,
Jets
I
win
don't-
10 games,
Jets aren't winning 10 games.
yeah, if they do, they're going to. He'll be Coach of the Year, or Daboll will.
I will say I agree there is an element of media pump up that the New York media gives New York teams. There is no debating that. But let's think about this, Steve. They are what, 7-4 now, the Giants? If this slow fade continues,
Yeah, they may
and
be.
they go 500 the rest of the
Maybe
way,
8 and
Brian
9.
Dable's not getting Coach of the
They
Year.
might be
Not
8
getting
and
Coach
9.
of the Year.
Kevin O'Connell might get it up in Minnesota.
Yeah,
First year coach. He might get it. They just won again last night. I mean, some of what they're doing is with a little smoke and mirrors, but it's working.
Yeah, it's working. I fell asleep on that game. Didn't really watch it.
Yeah,
but-
they beat the Patriots, and you were in a tryptophan coma, weren't you?
Yeah, I told you I went through 2 or 3 yesterday.
yeah, that,
The tryptophan.
Yeah, I didn't even
kicked
see
in.
it. I didn't even see the
Thurman
end
was
of
done.
that game.
yeah, that was a, yeah. The 3 games yesterday, and I just
They were all good
knew.
games.
I just knew there was no way the Vikings were going to beat the Patriots last night. Patriots.
The Vikings did beat the Patriots.
I know. I just knew they weren't, and I was
Oh,
surprised.
you
I
resigned
was
yourself.
surprised. I resigned
see what you're
myself,
saying.
myself to the fact. Plus, we've got, and we were laughing about this. You know, the Chiefs. The Chiefs are playing the Rams with Joey Bag of Donuts playing quarterback tonight. I don't know who he is. And then the Miami Dolphins are playing the Houston Texans with Tommy Schmegmahoyten at quarterback because they just
He's not
benched-
wrong.
They
It's
benched
Kyle Allen.
Yeah, they
to be fair.
yeah, and they benched
Davis Mills got benched,
the guy that
and the Rams' top 2 quarterbacks are injured.
I mean, so we
Wolford
can't. The
and
Bills are not getting
Stafford.
any breaks.
No.
The teams they need to lose are playing.
The rubber will meet the road for the Dolphins after this week. They got to go on the road and play the Niners, or the Chargers, and then the Niners. Back-to-back weeks, West Coast trips. Let's throw a little adversity their way for once. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they got some games that they can lose. Absolutely.
I mean,
Looking at the schedule.
road, all in a row
It
there.
doesn't. Yeah, but
I look at our schedule. I know what the Dolphins got. I know what we have to do to the Dolphins. We have to beat them the next time we play them. I mean, I think we pretty much got a sweep.
the Bills have three.
We got to win the 4
We gotta win the
division
four.
three division games coming up right now. At New England, at home against the Jets, at home against Miami. There's your season right there.
There it is, right there.
That's the division right there. Whatever happens in those games is going to decide who walks off with it. And that's it. There ain't no two ways about it. By week 18, when they play the Patriots here, I think it's all going to be
Said and done. That'll be said and
it's
done.
going to be done in the wash.
As I said, we were 7-6 last year after 13 games.
that's correct.
7-6 after 13 games. That is correct. They lost to Tampa in overtime.
Right.
And I believe that was either a second consecutive defeat, and then they just ripped off 4 wins in a row right there.
they got to the Tampa game, and then it was they up till that point from week 6 it was they beat the Chiefs in week 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
They lost to Tennessee, beat Miami, lost to Jacksonville, beat New York, lost to Indianapolis,
Yeah, they traded
beat New
wins and
Orleans,
losses for 6 weeks.
and then they lost 2 in a row, New England and then
2 in a
Tampa
row,
Bay.
that's what it was.
And then they ran the table
Yeah,
with
2 in a row.
4.
Josh Allen's never lost 3 in a row.
Right.
Really?
So
Is that
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. he's
so
never
that
lost
was
3 in a
it.
row.
They were a 500 club for 6 or 7 weeks last year of the season,
And then they found their footing. The run game took off. The pass rush improved, and then they couldn't be stopped.
But this year, I'm injuries are the story of this team this year, and they haven't been
In terms of what's holding them back.
They have not been for 2 or 3 years. That has not even been a conversation to have. Now it's a problem.
One of the healthiest teams.
And so, if you'd think at some point that would rinse out and even out, and they start to get healthy a little bit.
How about that starts now?
Yeah, right. Please.
Come on, we're
because
running out
it
of
really
games
now
here.
just started. And one of the guys that I've been talking about for the past couple of years, man, I think we miss a lot of Tremaine Edmonds. I think we miss a lot out of him when he's.
Steve
I
was
know
talking
there's been talk around fans about he's not doing this or he's not doing. We don't
Misses
see
too
him
many
as
plays,
often or
yeah,
whatever. You know, I'm like talking about a 20-year-old kid came in here and take over the middle linebacker
run the
job.
defense.
Run the
this.
defense for us.
There
They're
are
20 years
times-
old.
I'm a big pro. I said this a little earlier in the show. I think when Tremaine's in there, he's so long. The guy stands out.
He's a condor out
on
there.
a field full
Yes.
of guys who stand out. He stands out because of his build. When he's in the middle of the field for the Bills defense, the space around him is expanded where he scares quarterbacks off the throw.
Yeah.
So he doesn't make some of these plays, but he makes it just because the quarterback won't throw it over there because it's like this big shadow standing there. He won't throw it in there thinking he can't get it around
There's
him.
been a couple of plays this year
Absolutely.
where
And all it
he's
takes in these games is like 3 of them.
overthrew him. Right. That's all it takes. Yeah. So.
And it's impossible. It makes it an impossible throw in the quarterback's mind. They won't let it loose.
Yeah. But you know what? With saying that and talking about how valuable we think he is, you're coming up here now with Ed and Tremaine. It's a tough decision to make.
Well, Ed's fifth-year option is next year.
It's
so
next
he's
year.
under contract
Okay.
for next year, under the fifth-year option, so you can wait on that.
Okay. All right.
Edmonds,
No,
you got to take care of in the offseason.
got to.
I
would
He's too
hope.
valuable. And let's not forget this either. He's 25 years old.
25.
He's entering the prime of his career. You could sign him to a 7-year contract, and he's only 32 at the end of the thing. Like,
Yeah.
you could and that's what I would do, quite
Right,
frankly, if
yeah.
I'm the Bills. I would sign him to the longest contract you can possibly think of just to spread the money out.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yes,
mean? Like,
absolutely.
because he's 25.
I mean, you got to. There's no doubt, and they've done this before. Well, they're going to make him an offer,
Yeah.
and the Milano, they got him for like what, $7 million a year, something like that.
No, it was 11.
10,
Was it
11.
10, 11 a year? That's
And that was
that's a
considered
bargain.
A team-friendly.
It's a team-friendly deal, and it's now the way he's playing, it's a bargain.
Right.
But Edmonds is
They did the
playing
same
on his
thing-
fifth-year option now.
Your option.
And they also did the same thing with Taron Johnson. They signed him to like a 3-year
3-year,
deal,
$24 million,
and it's like, wow, they're outplaying the contract. Mainly this year, they're outplaying. I mean, Taron's outplaying his contract because he's on the field. Micah is off the field, and you're glad you got him, but he's not helping. So they got to make a play to try and sign Tremaine. Ed, they can wait on a year, and let the cap expand greatly. It's going to expand greatly in this next year. So we'll see.
Yeah. Thurman, I want to get your thoughts before we have to break here about the last 2 weeks, Singletary's play running the football because, I mean, he has been I feel he's been very consistent these last 2 games especially.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. I've been talking to him and James Cook, before every game, and just telling them, hey, go out there and just be yourself. Do what you have to do, because with Devin, it's different because he's been here a number of years.
Yeah.
And we pretty much everybody know what he can do. And I tell you what, man, he's been as solid a football player at that position for Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane as anybody else. Really, when you really think. He doesn't get a lot of carries. I mean,
Right.
he catches 4 or 5 balls out of the backfield or whatever, but his, positive yardage gain is, every time he touches the ball, got to be at least 7 or 8 yards every time he touches the ball.
He's almost, he'll have a couple of no gains in
Right.
there, here and there, but it's never a TFL.
No.
And I think, and please, I'm not trying to say he's like you, but if there was one quality of your game that you had that I think he also has, you used to make something out of nothing. You know, you'd find the tiniest little crease and get 2 or 3 yards when
nothing was
most
there.
people would
Yeah,
be
he
like, that's a
does that.
0
Yeah.
carry.
Right.
You'd get 2 or 3. I think
Yeah.
he's got that
He
knack
does.
too.
Oh, absolutely, he does. I mean, and hiding really behind that offensive line. I mean, he's 5'7". These guys are 6'4", 6'5". He's hiding behind those guys. He's getting yards and seeing cracks to where no other guys would normally see him. And I think he's been wonderful for this football team. I think James Cook is coming along very, very nicely. So I think they're these last stretch of games. I would have loved to see the running game a little bit more against Detroit. I mean, they were, 31st against the run?
Yeah, better in recent weeks. but
Better
yes,
in recent
31st,
weeks.
yeah.
And let me tell you, they're no slouch up front.
No, that's a good team.
That's a very good football team. And it kind of showed yesterday, if you can have that type of front four and maybe rotate in a couple of guys, it's been kind of giving us a little bit of problem. I mean, that's what the Jets did, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but I didn't like yesterday. Until they announced it on television, I didn't even know Deion Dawkins was out.
Yeah, because it happened right at the end of the first half.
Right.
And I watched him limp off.
Okay.
And I'm like, well, let's keep an eye on that in the second half. And then they come out for the second half. I'm like, oh, Quessenberry's in. And then I'm looking on the bench, and I can't even find
You can't see
Deion.
it. Yeah. So
He was out there later.
Yeah,
walking
later.
around,
Yeah.
cheering guys on. But it's going to be a problem that the Detroit defense over the past month of the 3-game winning streak, now the 3-1 over the last month, they're a top 5 defense. Mm-hmm. They played like it, and they're acting like it. And I said, if it wasn't for their 1-6 start, kind of tanks your season. But man, oh man, they're playing really good.
They're playing really
They're
good
playing
football.
really good. It was
right?
a tough game. There's no question, and it was made tougher by the deficiencies of the Bills roster,
Right.
Because they got all these injuries, plus in-game stuff that happened. Vaughn, Dion, all that stuff.
They got a nice football team that they're building right there. I mean, they're still years and years away, but I think that,
yeah,
they're good.
Thurm,
Exactly.
sorry we are out of time already. But
Oh,
thanks for
man, really?
thanks
I just got here.
I mean, I'll keep you for another segment.
No,
We
I
got to
gotta
take a
go.
break here.
Yeah, I gotta go. Hey, man, we're 8-3, man. Bring on the Patriots. I'm ready to go.
All right.
Yeah,
We-
that's it.
Oh my gosh.
We'll catch up with you next week, Thurm.
Patriot
Thanks for the
week.
time. As always, enjoy the rest of your holiday weekend. We will catch up with you next week. That
Thank
is
you, sir.